Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the King Leo Show. How's everyone doing tonight? Let me close that. How's everyone doing, man? Happy Friday. We have to talk about. Good evening. Welcome to the King Leo Show. I'm your host, King Leo.
Say the M word. Go on.
How are you doing tonight? Welcome. Happy Friday. Settle in. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have a great, nice show before we get to torture ourselves by watching Bill Maher tomorrow. Okay? It's going to be a great show. Everyone's going to have a great time. Is this light too white? Is it too white or too bright? Here. We have a lot to talk about, man. I'm excited for this show because Hasan Piker is in Cuba. I don't know if this is too bright. You guys let me know. Hasan Piker is in Cuba. Cuban dogs. There's not a lot of them left. They've been eaten or out of food, unfortunately. Watch out. You might get introduced to some American electricity, Turkish, I guess. I am finding this whole flotilla thing. It's so funny. It's so ridiculous. It's really, when I saw Hasan Piker streaming today from Cuba, I was like, dude, I think what you have to call it, I was talking to my producer about it, and I think this brand of communism would be something like white collar communism. This white collar communism, I really don't understand it. We can be critical of past communists, right? Because they were ineffective and weak, most of them. But, Angela Davis, let me check if the audio is running well. Check if the audio is running well. See if this is good. Really don't understand. We're good. Angela Davis, who else? Asada Shakur, these types of communist socialists, Billy Ayers, they were retarded. They weren't very smart in my view. More of a Stalin guy myself. But they were at least doing something. They were doing something. Hasan Piker, Hasan, what are you going to go do in Havana? They take thirst trap stream? Where, brother? Why isn't he signing up for the Cuban army? That's what I really wonder. It's easy to talk the talk. It's very easy to talk. Look, man, I'm personally not a fan of the Cuban government. It's not an ideological thing. I just think it doesn't work. Okay? The Chinese government, I think it's pretty cool. I think it works. Now, the Cuban government, I think, is retarded and run by retarded people. And like anything retarded, it should be eliminated because China hates it, America hates it. It is stupid. But I guess some people like it. Okay, if you like it, then sign up to take down an invisible plane like the Persians just did. Go do something. But they don't. They don't. It's just a loser convention. Let's get through the plugs, man. We got a lot to get through. I'm going to pull it up here. By the way, I wasn't active on the Discord. I broke my promise. However, I replied to all the comments today. So we have that. Oof. Rough start. Here we have the Discord. Link is in the description. There's the free tier and the paid tier. The paid tier you get access to through the Patreon over here, which is $5 or $20 a month, whatever you prefer. And it gets you access to the King Leo Movie Club, where we post videos every Sunday. Damn, I got to do this video. I got to do this week's tomorrow, probably, to post it on Sunday. All right. We did Fight Club last week. It was a lot of fun. There's notifications here. What's going on here? I don't know. All right. How you doing, Eves? And we also have the what would Piers Morgan do, or what would a postmodernist do parody bracelet available at the link below. How's everyone doing tonight? It's Friday. You guys got to be happy that it's Friday. Who's on Bill Maher this Friday? Who is on Bill Maher? Let me check. Who is on Bill Maher tonight? This is cheating. You're not supposed to do this, but bruh. He has on Anna Paulina Luna. This is crazy. And Tristan Harris. I hate that guy. And Paul Bagala. I'm unfamiliar. Maybe I think I recognize the name. Paul Bagala. Who's Paul Bagala? I know who this guy is. This guy's a fucking retard. All right. Anna Paulina Luna. Wow. All right. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. All right, everyone. Let's get started on the show. We have a lot to get through. we have to talk about the Cesar Chavez thing, and we're going to do that through the lens of schizo. Watch, man. This country's going nuts. So firstly, I wanted to cover here Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, wake up. Joe Rogan, wake up. Joe Rogan. Because more clips have come out of his interview with Pierre Poilievre, who you don't have to learn his name. It's a little complicated. You could just call him the Canadian loser. We should call him the Canadian loser. The loser from Canada. You know how they say when I don't know, like a senator walks in, they're like, the gentleman from Pennsylvania, the loser from Canada. Why even learn his name? He lost. He's a loser. He lost his own seat. He's a loser. A loser. He's a loser. Total loser. All right. And so he was on Joe Rogan. And I have to show you here because let's look at the cope here. This is him explaining why he lost his election, which is obviously Trump's fault. Who else could it be, you know?
So there's a narrative in America, and the narrative is that you were about to win and your party was about to win, but then Trump came along and said he was going to turn Canada into the 51st state, and everybody went crazy. Is that accurate?
I wouldn't say they went crazy. I mean, it was.
They got very upset.
They should be upset, though. I mean,
well, it's a crazy thing to say.
It is a crazy thing to say. Canada's not for sale. We're never going to be the 51st state. We love Americans as neighbors and friends, but we want to be uniquely and we want to be sovereign as Canadians. It's our country. It's where we grow up. You're a patriot as an American. I'm a patriot as a Canadian. It's where my grandfather arrived. It's where our collective ancestors put on military.
He is such a patriot that he couldn't find one Canadian woman to marry. I'm not saying it from some racial POV or anything. I am of that race he married. I am a Venezuelan. As a patriot, if you really love your country, I think you marry someone from there. I'm not even saying they have to be white Canadian or anything. But Pierre the Patriot.
Uniforms and sailed to fight wars. It's where our grandkids are going to live. We're very proudly Canadian. So we're never going to be the 51st state. And I just wish he'd knock that shit off so that we can get back to talking about the things that we can do as two separate but two separate countries that are actually friends.
Did that really have that much of an effect up there? Like, did people take him seriously?
I think at first everyone thought it was a joke. Because we've always had these jokes like, one day we're going to take over Vermont and Detroit should be part of Canada and all that stuff. But then he kept saying it, and it became a lot of people got upset about it, and I think understandably so.
Understandably, yeah. I mean, it's a crazy thing to say.
It is a crazy thing to say.
I talked to him on the phone about it. It was like so funny. He's like, at first I was joking, but then people were like, it's a good idea. Like, that's not a good idea.
Nobody's saying that. I can assure him of that. But and the tariffs aren't a good idea either. We should get the tariffs out. Because there's so much, but we could.
I just don't understand what Joe Rogan is doing, man. I've never seen Joe this performative. Like, look at this.
It was like so funny. He's like, at first I was joking, but then people were like, it's a good idea. Like, that's not a good idea.
I've never seen him say that's not a good idea. What happened, Joe? Your balls fall off? What happened, Joe? Your balls fall off? Your voice went into that high pitch. What happened to all the Trent? This is really silly, dude. It's really silly. But I think there is something of note here, which is that I can't tell because the world is increasingly retarded.
Oh, I get it. You're retarded.
Where what's happening here is Joe Rogan is interviewing someone who is being diplomatic, but probably has his differences with Trump because he cost him the election. I mean, that's quite obvious in some ways. Also, it's not Trump's fault that this guy's a loser. He's a total loser who had no vision for Canada. And again, conservatives loving fake history. It's not unprecedented or weird for Canada to be part of the United States. In fact, one of the lesser talked about battles in the American Revolution was the battle for Quebec, which they lost. In addition to that, I believe it was Newfoundland that was going to be annexed by the United States during the 20th century because they wanted to be part of the U.S., but they never allowed that to happen. But they wanted to join the U.S., so I don't think it's unprecedented, but fake history is what they traffic, and they love their fake history. So it's really something to see this guy. I can't tell if Joe Rogan's doing a thing where he's saying, look, I'm talking to people that oppose President Trump, and I'm telling personal anecdotes of my disagreements with him in order to get some legitimacy back, which is really just hit the oil rig, dude. It's like digging and digging and digging a deeper hole. Why don't you just back off from the politics? Where is the comedy? Where is the joy? Why can't Joe Rogan just go back to being a comedian, just to being a funny comedian? I mean, a comedian. I wouldn't say funny, but a comedian. Why wouldn't he just go back to being a comedian instead of doing this? Where it's like, so what are you going to do now? Now it's the schizophrenia podcast, the Joe Rogan schizophrenia experience. We're going to whiplash back and forth between candidates. Why don't you have on Bernie Sanders again? Bernie, Trump, Pierre, bring back AI Stalin, bring back AI Hitler. You might as well. And it's painful to say because I think Mark Maron said something similar, and I'm not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of it about Theo Von. It's so damn silly. How you doing, Audio Vibes? And Eve says, I love less stoner Joey. I agree. I don't know if it's the weed that's fucking with him, but something is messing with him. Something messing with him. All right, we have to go over here to ABC News. This Cesar Chavez story is getting more disgusting by the day. I'm glad to see that people are pushing back on it. People are very disgusted with this whole story. However, they're not winning. The people who are winning are the ones who are pushing this story. I had clarification today. The New York Times did not actually verify the 23andMe of the two children that Dolores Huerta apparently had through rape with Cesar Chavez and gave away. That is all in the article, but it's not proven. So it's even more skeptical than a lot of people thought. But let's see her here talking to John Quinones. Let's see two Latin coons just shucking and jiving. Minstrel show out here. Put on the red lipstick. Why don't you ride around in a bouncy car while you do this? Let's watch what they have to say. Disgusting, man.
If you could talk to Cesar Chavez right now, what would you say to him?
How could you?
What does this remind you of?
She's the iconic labor leader and civil rights activist who co-founded the United Farm Workers alongside Cesar Chavez. Now speaking with us in an ABC News Network exclusive, Dolores Huerta says as an adult, she was sexually assaulted by Chavez.
It's devastating.
It pains me to have to ask you this, but did Cesar Chavez rape you?
What one could, how shall I put it? You can name it what you name it, whatever, But I think when you are forced into a situation of unwanted sex or whatever, that I think you could, you could consider it rape.
This reminds me of that accusation that Trump got. How you doing, John? We'll get to Hasan. Where that crazy woman, what was her name? The crazy lady who had accused Trump of rape at the Bloomingdale's in New York. I went to that Bloomingdale's actually in 2023. I was with my producer actually. And we were like, dude, let's check out if this is a plausible story. I'm not telling you guys, I'm not saying I support Trump or anything. I'm just telling you I was doing some real world analysis with my producer. And we walked into that and there's no way. There's no way unless the floor plan was completely different and we didn't find evidence for that. So that lady was on Anderson Cooper and she was like, you're a fascinating man to talk to. When he asked her if she had been assaulted by Trump, she was like, it was just, the answer is yes or no. Are you kind of pregnant? No, you're pregnant or you're not. And it's really something to see this in old age, man. We used to have old people with wisdom back in the day. Now we have whatever Dolores Huerta is here. Let's go back to this. This is truly disgusting. Look, this is the face of the grift, man, of the grift.
For decades, the late Cesar Chavez, who died at age 66 in 1993, was a civil rights icon. A champion of farm workers and hero to millions of Latinos.
We're not going to give up. We're in too far to give up.
Chavez's legacy now shattered after an exclusive investigation by the New York Times detailed allegations Chavez groomed and sexually abused girls who worked in the farm workers movement. Ana Murguia telling the New York Times,
I just can't believe that they got. Like, you have to see, this is what's important about media. John Scone says, Chamo, Tom took over Venezuela and raped us. I believe her. Bro, you're Venezuelan, John? With that name? Is your name actually John Scone? That's crazy, dude. So you've been out La Pachanga with the baseball classic. How you doing, man? Dude, I just got back from Colombia, and all the good food is Venezuelan, obviously, and there's a bunch of Venezuelans there. And dude, I had for the first time, maybe I had it as a kid. I've had it in Miami, but I haven't had it down there. The arepa llanera, bro. The quality of the tomato and the lettuce down there is so much better than up here. You know, it was very good. You live in the UK. You're with Aquaviva out there, dude. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. You're with Francis Foster, the other Anglo-Venezuelan. My God, man, the UK. That's crazy. But back to this. Look, they didn't bring out a white woman, a black woman, a black man. They didn't bring out any of these people. They brought out John Quinones, who is held in high esteem by Americans. I think Latino Americans that are a little bit older, you know, people that watch, more ingratiated into the English-speaking culture, because he's famous from What Would You Do with John Quinones? It really, brother, it's like Julius Caesar, man. It's just, it really be your own people. It really be your own people. They come in there, et tu, John? Et tu, Juan? You're going to do this to me? Of course. Who else were they going to send? Only a Latino could take down another Latino. The optics would be too bad otherwise. Disgusting. Disgusting. Aquaviva, bro. I don't know what your politics are, dude, but there's a really good podcast. I like these guys because I'm on Twitter. I follow a lot of the right-wing Venezuelans, and I don't mean the pro-Trump. That's not what I mean, because I've always been partial to the Venezuelan positivist movement, you know, Vienna Lance, Pietri, and they're called La Palabra Compartida. Dude, they do great work. It's really good. I was listening to their episode today about, forget this guy's name, dude. He was almost president. It wasn't Reni Otolina. It was someone else. Great show. Great show. La Palabra Compartida. One of the best. Because I like that old right-wing Venezuelan stuff. Because that's when my grandpa was a communist in the PCV. All right, let's continue. Let's watch over here what Don Lemon is doing out here. Aquaviva is a message. Dude, my mom loves Aquaviva, bro. I talked to him once in a Twitter space. Damn, this is getting real Indio out here. Real Indio. We're talking Venezuela. Aquaviva, dude. He wanted to fight me, but I wasn't trying to fight him because I was agreeing with him that libertarianism is stupid. He's so funny. I can't watch his streams. I just can't, but I do see him on Twitter. On Twitter, he's very funny. All right, let's continue. Don Lemon over here. Let's see what he has to say here on his little platform.
I have some major breaking news into the Don Lemon Show newsroom, and it involves rape allegations by Donald Trump of a 13-year-old girl. The Justice Department has posted online the FBI interview's release of the sexual assault allegations against President Donald Trump that had been missing from that massive trove of Epstein files released by the Justice Department. Now, a news organization did an analysis that discovered that dozens of witness interviews were missing from the online archive of evidence related to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. These all involved so-called 302 memos. Those are the memos that where the FBI memorializes what.
All right, that's enough. As we can see, Don Lemon is informing us that Donald Trump has raped someone. awesome. But what I find great about this is he did it with the TED TV show promo in the background. It's TED, if you're not aware, is an animated teddy bear that is in the style of Family Guy because it's made by Seth MacFarlane. So this thug, Don Lemon, is out. Very serious news. Imagine if Obama had announced that they killed Osama bin Laden with a Family Guy promo underneath or something. He's lost his damn mind. Dude, he's a journalist. He should know optics. He should know everything. But just, maybe he's being sponsored by TED. Maybe Seth MacFarlane is paying Don Lemon to do these announcements in front of the TED billboard because it's the whole billboard. It's at least 85% of the billboard. And dude, come on. These people, we needed to keep them at CNN, at MSNBC, because they are incapable of. I think Don Lemon probably can't eat by himself now. I think his husband, his white husband, has to feed him. He might even have to like move his jaw so that he could chew like this, because they are incapable of acting in the real world in any way, or the hyper real world, the online. They can't do it. They can't do it. They're retarded. This is crazy work, man. Dude, they should do all the news. Like, I've had an idea. I think it would actually work. I'm not even kidding. I want to do this thing where I hire like Bonnie Blue and all the porn stars to do the news straight. They're doing the news, but they're straight up naked. Not blue balling you in a tight dress like the Latino news, just naked and giving you the news. I think that shit would do numbers. That's where we're going. We could do that. We could have them do that. We'll have commercial breaks for Brazzers and whatever other porno company wants to come in. Because, I mean, this is where we are. You can't talk about Donald Trump raping children in front of the TED billboard. You can't do that. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. How are you doing, Robert? We all know what he's feeding. Don Lemon. Does Don Lemon? No, that's too disgusting. No. Vanilla ice cream. No. That's too gross. Eve says he knew. Disgusting. Let's continue. Let's see what Ted Cruz posted. This was last night, dude. This is crazy. Let's see what Ted Cruz posted. At this point, I'm resigned to it, man. They're going to use AI babies.
We are in the middle of the battle to pass the Save America Act. This is simple, common sense legislation that is critical to protect our elections. It has two elements. Number one, it requires proof of U.S. citizenship to register to vote. Number two, it requires photo ID to actually go and vote. Both of these are common sense provisions that the overwhelming majority of Americans support. 81% of Americans support photo ID. 80% of Hispanics support photo ID for voting. 75% of African Americans.
What is this? What is this? What is this? Dude, I like some of the AI stuff, but what is this? This is going, at some point in the next 10 years, and I'm not saying that I want this to happen, but it's going to happen. They are going to start using this baby AI tech to make content for PDF files, okay? And it's going to become a problem because they're going to try to legislate it, but they're going to say the First Amendment covers it. And it's very difficult to make the argument that it doesn't, because we don't have the obscenity clause anymore. And Ted Cruz is spearheading this, And I don't like thinking about that stuff. I think it's disgusting. I'm not a PDF file myself. If there's one thing you can be rest assured of, is that I am not a PDF file, okay? If they ever want to kill me and they find my hard drive, you can rest assured that that was a plant. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. But this is so gross. It's just so disgusting. I don't know if it's convincing to people to say, let's pass the save. I get it now. They weren't going to pass the SAVE Act, but Ted Cruz releasing the baby AI video has won over the Senate. I understand. Oh, silly me. I guess I'm stupid.
Because I'm fucking stupid.
I'm stupid. Oh, that's what it took to bring it over the line. Normally they use the whips in the Senate to do this, but no, you have to use the baby AI. You know, Bernie Sanders was really concerned about the SAVE Act, but then he saw this video and he said, oh, well, we have to pass the SAVE Act because AI Ted Cruz baby has said it's a good idea. That's what's going on. Thank you, Ted Cruz. Great stuff. Great. It's just, brother, it's going to get weirder and weirder. Thank you, John. I really appreciate that, sir. All those words of encouragement are really good, man. I appreciate that. And we will keep grinding. Absolutely. Let's see what National Review is putting out here.
What we are calling the Retard Right Podcastistan.
This was the publication of William F. Buckley. William F. Buckley. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, actually. I was about to say, you know, William F. Buckley was a classy guy, but he did call Gore Vidal. He called Al Gore Vidal. Hi, my name is Al Gore Vidal. I invented the internet and also wrote the book Hamilton. Never mind. That's too obscure. He did call Gore Vidal the F word at the RNC. Keep talking. He had the transatlantic accent. That's kind of dead at this point. I don't even know how to imitate that. That's like, Jimmy Stewart didn't have that either. I think Tucker kind of has it because Tucker says rather. No, he's how do British people say it? Rather, and they say rather. You'll catch Tucker doing that, and it's performative. It's put on. So I was about to say, you know, William F. Buckley's turning in his grave, watching his publication use the word retarded. But actually, you know, they've kind of moderated. They could be saying the F word right. That's crazy. Let's see what else they're saying.
You name it, I think is inevitable. The race for clicks, the titillation of transgression. I want a free internet. I'm an American. I don't want hate speech laws. It is inevitable that that'll happen, that there's going to be a contingency of people who are going to go down that rabbit hole for a variety of reasons. First of all, it's transgressive. And, you know, transgression used to come from the left where they would burn the American flag or, you know, you remember Piss Christ in the 80s or 90s. Today, the transgression comes from the right because the pieties are all on the left. Like you wanted to do something really transgressive, do a Piss Floyd at a museum, see if the NEA will fund it. There's also the pleasure of thinking that you're in the know, that, hey, here's what they don't want you to know. I know. You guys who watch Fox News, you don't know. And then there's the fact that it just kind of absolves you of blame, right? Why is America in such a mess today? It's not our fault. It's their fault. And what they end up settling on, part of them is,
this is so stupid. I don't know what the point is of the National Review, but you know what pisses me off here? Let me give you a little Latino lore. One of my least favorite Latinos, his name was Mario Vargas Llosa. When he died last year, I lit one up. Smoke on that pack, you old Peruvian devil. Nothing against Peruvians. We did beat you in the war, Chile. But whatever, we're putting that aside. He used to do this thing because he was a liberal. So they asked him once, would you rather live under Pinochet or would you rather live under Hugo Chavez? And he was like, the question makes no sense. I can't answer it. I can answer that question. I'm sure you can too. Because it's would you rather? Would you rather right now live in Eritrea or communist China? I would rather live in communist China. I would like to do that, actually. North Korea or Eritrea? Now I have to think a little bit. You know, it's probably Eritrea. I feel like I do better there because they're not like racial purists. But he would always do this thing where he would say, in what moment did Peru become fucked up? Would be the direct translation. And he would always blame people for the poor state of the country. He'd say, it's because You don't pay your bus fare. And it's like, dude, the president is literally the most corrupt president in history. There are communist guerrillas boiling babies alive in the mountain, and I have to pay my bus fare? Fuck you. So I don't understand how National Review thinks this is a convincing strategy to blame you as an American. Yeah, it was your fault that quantitative easing happened. Yeah, it was your fault, actually. You in particular, you know what you did? You know what you did. I don't have to tell you. You know what you did. You repealed Glass-Steagall. That was you. It wasn't me. It was you. It's such a dumb line of argument. And again, the big boss, Bibi, Bibi is the only one who can do good propaganda. Why would you say that there's going to be speech codes? And him bringing up Piss Christ, I'm actually a Piss Christ defender. I'm a postmodern Catholic, but I'm a defender only because Baudrillard spoke of this. Baudrillardians check in, where he said that in the future, as the symbol, becomes more and more detached from the real, we would be more passionate about defending religious icons rather than the religion itself. And the material nature of religion in the modern world, it lends itself to nihilism, where people, look, man, I do what the Pope says. That's what I do. I don't care if you burn a crucifix. It's not my problem because I'm not an idolater. But to use that to bring speech codes into the United States, all right, I guess we're doing Rudy Giuliani in the 90s. Great stuff. Let's see here. Let's catch up with the chat. Eve says, I love China. I love China too. I love China. John says, ideologies are dead. Money is king. All Arabian allies in the Middle East are absolute monarchies. They have literal slaves. That is absolutely true, sir. That is, well, yeah. Does Oman have slaves? I don't know. In Yemen, is that a monarch? Is Yemen a monarchy? Are they still doing the South Yemen thing? Or is Al Qaeda in charge? Who is in charge of Yemen? Someone get Dave Smith on the phone right now. Dave Smith, who's in charge of Yemen? Ring, ring. I don't fucking know. I don't know. How you do it? Oh, no, I thought I saw Ephra in there. And John says Cuba. We're going to get to Cuba. Let's continue here. I am total victory lap vindication. I'm so happy to see this news. Normally, I do not get off on other people's misery, but I will here. Wanted to show you this here. This is Jair Bolsonaro. As you can see, here's a picture of him at the hospital. This is his son, Carlos Bolsonaro, who wrote this little tweet here, being so sad because his father remains in the semi-intensive unit with a weak voice, drowsy from the medications. He complained of weakened breathing because he's in prison. I leave the hospital devastated more than I honestly expected to be, but we carry on. The reason, I'll tell the story again. The reason I'm so happy to see this is that I literally told his son, you are going to lose to Lula. It is going to happen to you. If you do not take action right now, you are done. You will end up in prison. I told him that in Orlando. I don't even like the guy. I don't like Jair Bolsonaro because I don't like cucks, okay? I don't like people that while his people are storming Brasilia, the capital, is eating at KFC. I don't like cucks, all right? Cucks over there with Sneeko, all right? Real men over here, real woman over here. No coquettes over here either. That's what you get for being fucking stupid. I was probably 20 years old when I said this to him. I told him, brother, you're going to lose. You will end up in prison. I've seen this movie before. How you doing, Ephra? And he ended up in prison just like he deserves. You deserve to be in prison. I don't even like Lula either, to be honest. I mean, dude, I'm going to be honest. I go with Bolivar on this. Brazil is the green monster, a weakened Brazil. Brazil is the Iran of Latin America. We need them weak. We need them in the corner, just weak. Have them weak. They will never be anything. They will never amount. But whatever, putting that aside, I don't like any of these people. Let's continue. When has Brazil ever worked? Let's look again here on the Cesar Chavez story. Look at how quick they were to remove his statues, man.
Breaking news here in San Fernando. We just found out that the city is removing this statue honoring Cesar Chavez. An officer came up to us to tell us they were bringing in a backhoe and removing the statue, and you can see it being lifted up into the air right now. And the mayor mentioned that he is in support of more removals of his likeness, including name.
You know who I blame for this statue removal thing, which has driven this country insane? And England too, I guess, because they've been. I remember when they took down the Churchill statue, and as someone who's not a Churchill fan, I was like, well, that one, yeah, whatever. But no, I don't like taking down statues. It's one person who's responsible for this. One person. It is George Bush. When he took down that Saddam statue for the photo op, everyone saw the power in taking down a statue, which is absolutely fake. I guess it's kind of real, but not really. I want, in Russia, they have this park. I think it's in a cemetery where they have all the statues of the communist era. I think it's called like the Park of Shame or something like that. You can walk around it. We should have that here. That would be so cool if they opened a park in DC where it's like Cesar Chavez is drinking a cerveza with Robert E. Lee. That would actually be a good solution to this. I would visit it. Take down the Lincoln statue. He's in there too. We walk around with, these were. But what I don't like is that they take these statues and they just melt them down. Send me the statue. I'll take it for free. I will take it. Don't send me the Cesar Chavez statue. I'll take it. I will put it up in my backyard. I'm not Mexican, but I'm sure it'll be a fine addition to grow corn. I don't know. I'll do something with it, okay? You don't know what to do with all that. You're not going to melt that down and use it for bullets like during the American Revolution. I don't know what you're doing. John says, I disagree. Brazil has a lot of potential. Best ally. I don't know, dude. I know what you mean, because who would be the best ally of Venezuela? It wouldn't be Colombia. They killed Bolivar. It was that man. I'll put that aside. I love to remind them of that. You did it. It was you. You killed this great Venezuelan man. Whatever. Could be Cuba in a different regime. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it would be Brazil, actually, dude. Maybe you would. Ephra says, how you do in advance? The honest reason why I think they are doing this is that it's the first step of dehumanizing Hispanics. The fact that CBS and New York Times are doing this. Oh my. Kufi on tight. Ephra, Kufi on tight, man. Kufi on tight. For Eid Mubarak, Ephra's here. Dude, so true. Actually, like, literally true. Literally true. So smart. I had that suspicion, but I hadn't been able to say it that well. That's very well stated, Ephra. Ephra, you should tweet that. I hope you have a Twitter. Ephra, please tweet that. That is actually very, very good. Very, very good. ADC says, the Albert Pike statue in DC will never get taken down. The Albert Pike statue. I didn't even know there was an Albert Pike statue. Let me look that up. That's crazy, man. Albert Pike statue. DC. They're never going to take down any of the... Holy shit, that's crazy. That's crazy. Damn, all right, that's crazy, dude. Wow. Yeah, are there any Judah P. Benjamin statues around or no? Colombia is not an ally. It's our evil twin brother. Dude, but they don't have anything. They really are just... What do they do? I just got back from there, and my mom, my whole life, she'd been like, those people, they are savages. And I've seen them outside of their country in Chile, and I was like, she's right. And then I go there and I go, yeah, these people are savages. They would live in mud huts whatever, putting that aside. They're great. I love the Colombians. Eve says, do an old Carson move, have some hot babes, hand you notes while now. I'll get on the producer to do that. That's a good one. Good one, Eves. I'm gonna write that one down for him, actually. Producer, take a note. He's remote today. All right, let's continue. We have to get to the next segment, dude. Next segment. We're making good time today. We have to. I can't wait to look at Hasan, man. Where's our? Where do we play us in here? Play us in. Here we go.
The people are retarded.
Let's start here. Look at these U.S. Marines. Listen, I wasn't a U.S. Marine, okay? Let's watch first, and I'll tell you my take on this, all right? Let's watch these U.S. Marines here. The U.S. Marines are cleaning Donald Trump's star, right? Listen, I wasn't a U.S. Marine. I wasn't, okay? I was actually... John's related to Capriles? What? I was actually on SEAL Team 2, as I told you yesterday. I did a secret stint, actually. You know, Benghazi could have gone down differently if I had been there. I would have saved them all. I would have saved all of them, okay? But I gotta say this. Look, when I did my Navy SEAL training at Fort Bragg, okay? And that's where they do the really secret one for us, okay? That's why I can lift 350 pounds, okay? That's why, all right? I didn't learn any of this cleaning stuff. I didn't know that Marines were such good cleaners. Why do we need Mexicans if we have Marines? Marines seem to be really good at cleaning stuff. I never cleaned anything. I cleaned people's clocks when I was in the Navy SEALs. Jocko Willink knows a little bit of what I'm talking about. I saw him a few times at school. That's what we call it in the biz, school. You know, school. Back when we were out there hunting goat herders, you know. But I didn't know that Marines were this good at cleaning. Why do we need any other? We don't need Hispanics, actually. The actual cleaners are the Marines. I wonder if they can also detail cars. It'd be kind of cool to see. Great stuff. I love to see how our military money's spent. Let's continue. Let's watch over here, this fellow over here. Burning his MAGA hat, just like when LeBron James left the Miami Heat.
I've been wearing my MAGA hat for 10 years now, and I'm gonna burn it today. I don't even recognize Donald J. Trump no more. I feel like they're taking over his mind, they're taking over his body. Iran, you said no new wars, and now we in Iran, sending Marines to Iran. Hell no, I ain't sending my sons to Iran. I ain't going to Iran. And you lied to my ass. I wish it didn't have to be this way, but it is what it is. I told you mine wasn't lying. I guess I'm a liberal now, huh? Because I'm anti-war with Iran. You know what I say? So be it.
Dude, again, this goes to my point that I keep reiterating. I keep reiterating this point. Why do people to protest in the it's a United States problem. It's here. Why are you releasing toxic fumes from some polyester hat and inhaling them to own Donald Trump? I feel like NWA, when people were destroying their albums to protest, they're like, fuck it, they bought them. They can do whatever they want. Why are you inhaling toxic fumes? And he scared me there for a second because he should be wearing a hat. He's one of those guys that's hat fishing, you know? It's really something, man. It's really something. And look, when he became a liberal, he put on the nose ring. Look at that. This is so disgusting. Listen. Sometimes you're a guarimbero, you know, you got to do a protest. That's what they call protesters. The communists call them in Venezuela. You got to do it, okay? Sometimes you got to do it. And you got to burn some tires. But you don't have to burn the polyester hat. I don't understand. I don't understand. You are damaging your lungs, your brain, your liver to own Trump. All right, sir. Let's continue. Now we can skip that. I wanted to show you this gentleman here. Okay. We need to watch this gentleman here. I don't want you to judge this really quick, okay? Let's watch first, all right? This is an analysis channel, okay?
Kill him with that was white on him. I ain't lied about shit I seen, bitch. I just got robbed by dyke white bitches. Every black bitch and nigga that kiss ass to the white folks, I'm gonna kill them for real. I'm gonna kill your bitch ass for real right now. The problem on the red line, we finna solve this shit. Mississippi nigga and bitch killing at the white folks, I'm finna get rid of this shit for real. A white bitch still on the machine with your daddy bitch. I'm finna kill that shit too. And I just got out of Stateville Penitentiary 2 days ago. I'm finna kill for real. Every slave mentality finna get sad to white folks. It's finna die. I'm solving the problems of the red line here for real.
What's crazy here is this, in case you weren't able to hear, all right? This gentleman was saying that he was going to kill white people. And all the comments are like, this is why black people can't live in our society, because they want to kill the white people. Okay. Firstly, I have to say this. This proves to me that if Nat Turner were around today, he would have failed again. You guys on Twitter saying, this is a black people. Look at the face of these two black people who have to listen to Nat Turner over here. This guy is trying to get home. He just got off shift. He works at Boost Mobile. He wants to go home, DoorDash some Chipotle, buy a plate or something. And he's subjected to the Nat Turner speech, we have to kill the white people. I don't think that this is a black problem if this is the reaction. They're not going, yeah, let's kill the white. They're not doing that. They're going, God damn it, dude. I was trying to listen to this Joe Rogan podcast, and now the fucking slave rebellion is starting. What is going on here, man? All I want to do is get my tax return, and I have to listen to this idiot. This is the hell that we all live.
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
Before you say like, oh, it's the blacks, it's the Latinos, it's the whites. We are all fed up with our own people and everyone else, man. It's like me with the Cesar Chavez thing. I'm just here, I'm watching it, and I'm going, I have this same facial expression. I'm watching John Quinones coon out, just, it really be your own people, dog. It really be your own people. It's terrible. Nope. This is the hell we all live in. Okay, so, if anyone, dude, if a white guy were doing it, I bet all the white people would have the same expression. Let's kill all the blacks. All the white people. Dude, I'm just trying to buy a computer on the Best Buy mobile app, and he's yelling at me about killing all the black people. I don't get it. Let's continue. Just crazy times in America. Crazy times. Mr. Elu's not here. I wanted him to be here for this. I need to ask him something. Let's watch this one. This is great. Let's watch over here this Nietzschean woman here not allowing her child to shame her.
Mom, that right there, it's not all the way covered up.
I tucked it into the back.
I don't like it. I like it all the way down.
Why do you like it all the way down?
Because it's more private. See, and that's not. It's kind of, I can literally kind of see your foot.
So everyone here is saying that this woman is so irresponsible, so poorly dressed that her own child is begging, mommy, please cover your butt. I don't want. Now, firstly, you need to shut the fuck up, kid.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up! You have no right to take people to Trump. Will you shut up? Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Mommy probably wants daddy to inseminate her. This kid doesn't know where babies come from. The ladies in the audience understand. You're trying to have another kid. Your husband, he's saying the economy's getting worse. Things are not that good. Is it a good time to have a kid? So she needs to walk around a certain way so that his primal instincts take over and they can reproduce. This kid is actually the most evil person in the world. Actually, I'm glad they didn't show him because the Ayatollah would declare a fatwa. This kid, Elon Musk would throw him off a building. This kid is trying to tank the fertility rate. He's trying to make the TFR even lower. Listen, man, sometimes there are adult conversations and kid conversations, okay? And the other possibility, which is just par for the course of where we are, I see Advances referring to it, maybe she just wants to hoe out. Maybe she's unsatisfied at home. Maybe she needs someone in the streets to, maybe she doesn't even want to do anything. Maybe she wants to hear a little cat call. Hey, mama, what you doing with all that? I'm married. And this kid is watching too much Andrew Tate, honestly. That's the problem. It's Andrew Tate is infecting these kids. I read a story about the UK where this was happening, where kids were going into the classroom and the teachers were trying to talk to them. They go, what color is your Bugatti? And they're like, what is that? These kids need to stop watching Myron Gaines, Andrew Tate, etc. Sometimes mommy needs to hoe out. And sometimes mommy needs daddy to make another kid. Don't you want a little brother? Little sister? Or actually a little, we don't know, it's assigned at birth, We don't assign things at birth anymore. And this kid is just getting in the way. These children, man, they get in the way of relationships. It's not possible to do this. This kid is the moral authority? All the comments. She has a husband and kids just for the streets. Imagine being called out by your 6-year-old. All right, so why don't you take tax advice from 6-year-olds too? It's just silly. It's just silly. What is the kid gonna tell you that your APR on your car loan is too high? Fuck you. Let's continue. Speaking of Myron Gaines, but let's watch this. I need to show you this. This is happening here. This is real hell shit.
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
This is real hell shit. Okay. Real hell shit. Let's watch this man take an Uber.
That's why Iranians are calling for the...
How come they don't put the hijab themselves?
How come what, sir?
Hijab. Why they don't do the hijab, the girls?
Why don't they take it off?
No, put their hijab. Why they don't do
because
it?
They don't want to be oppressed and wear a hijab covering their face.
Okay, but it's an Islamic Muslim.
But it never used to be.
Okay, no, excuse me.
Did it? It never used to be.
Okay, no, wait a minute.
You think women should be forced to wear it to cover their face?
Well, if it is the rule of the religion, yes.
Okay. Well,
it is the rule of the religion. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
It never used to be like that, though, did it?
Okay. But it is. We're gonna follow according to the Quran. If they say that, they are wrong.
Yeah. Well,
they should wear. So it's not a big deal. They should.
So you think women should cover their faces?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If they want, if that's the culture of the country, if that's the rule, they have to do it. Then peacefully, they have to.
You think gays should be thrown off buildings? According to Sharia law?
Okay, according to country law.
Yeah, you think that's
okay? No. According to their law.
Yeah, it's the law. Yeah.
I am not. I'm not judging it, but according to the law, they have to be doing the law.
Imagine taking an Uber and picking a fight over the rights of homosexuals and women in Iran. I don't think I've ever fought with an Uber driver. Maybe one time because he was taking the highway that I didn't want. Why are you asking an Uber driver his opinions on homosexuality? Is this Tucker Carlson? Is this Tucker Carlson in the back trying to talk about gay rights? Listen, I'm not a fan of the hijab. I'd rather all the women be in bikinis and all the men be in jock straps. All right, we have to be as close to the garden as possible. Okay, that's just the truth. That would solve all of our problems. But regardless, I don't care if my Uber driver wants women to wear the hijab. I don't care if my Uber driver thinks that they should nuke Iceland because he's taking me from point A to point B. What do I give a shit about his opinion? Why would you bring debate into a interaction? Why would you do that? This is Uber. This is Uber is so simple. For anyone that doesn't know, in case you're living in 2007, Uber is so simple. You just get your phone and you pick the car and the location. And the great thing about Uber is that you can even tell people, I don't want to talk, and they shut up. But the other thing is, let's not, listen, dude, maybe you don't remember taxis, but I do. If you have a taxi driver, you are not going to hear the nicest conversation from the taxi driver. That's just not the case. You talk to a taxi, they made a movie about it. It's called Taxi Driver. You start talking to a taxi driver, and pretty soon he's telling you about how all Serbians are dogs and they shouldn't just be killed. They should be cut up into little pieces and fed to the fishes in the Anatolian Sea. Okay, and you go, what? Why? You know, that's what you hear from a cab driver because they have a lot of time to ponder the real questions. Okay, I don't know why my Kosovan cab driver doesn't like Serbians. I don't really care because I'm trying to get to the target. Imagine you take an Uber to get to the airport. You're on the way to the airport and you're picking a fight about throwing gays off buildings with an Uber driver. And look at the tweet. Hey, Uber, next time I want an anti-Western lecture from an Islamist-supporting, rude, obnoxious driver for 15 minutes on my way to work. On your way to work, you're on the way to hell.
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
I'll let you know. Until then, get this creep off your books. Full recording is astonishing. No, it's astonishing to me that you are going to work and you decide to get riled up by an Uber driver. You should be banned from the Uber app. Ben Leo, chief U.S. correspondent of Great Britain News. You should be banned from Uber. I don't care what the Uber driver believes. I'm kind of a libertarian when it comes to this. Oh, hang on. Don't call Tom Woods. Don't call Dave Smith. It's an economic transaction. If you hire a gigolo as a woman, or you hire a lady of the night as a man, do you care what their politics are? No, it's a transaction. When I go to Target, maybe the person who's scanning my groceries wants to nuke France for... I don't care. Maybe they want to join barbecue in Haiti and kill the other gangs. I don't care. I'm just trying to buy a delicious treat. And it's really something. This is the lowest of humanity. It really is the lowest here. Like, it's so low to fight with a cab driver. When a cab driver speaks in Miami, all the cabs, the cabs are owned by the Russian mafia, and all the cab drivers are Jamaican for some reason. I don't know why. Don't ask me why, but it's always been the case. When a Jamaican cabbie is talking to me, I listen. I want to hear about the history of Michael Manley in Jamaica, or about why Alka-Seltzer is actually evil and the white man made Alka-Seltzer to corrupt the indigenous lining of the black man. You know, that's what I want to hear. That I want to sit down and I want to hear it. If I don't want to hear it, I'll put on headphones and I'll play stupid. Or I'll tell him, I no speak English. And that's it. It's the end of the conversation. Who cares? Who cares? Why don't you listen? Aren't you a reporter? Don't reporters listen? This is why the media sucks, because of people like Ben Leo. Maybe you could have got an amazing perspective. You could use in an article. I was taking an Uber and my cab driver made some fair points. Maybe you had let him talk instead of interrupting him. It says it's a lecture. No, it was an inquisition on your part. Maybe he would have made some good points. His English is obviously limited. He has a disadvantage. Maybe if you spoke Urdu or Farsi or whatever he speaks, or Arabic, he would be a genius. But no, actually, this is racist. I'm going to leave it at that. How you doing, Mr. Elu? And everything says the Michael Jordan approach, both sides by the... Absolutely. It's capitalism. I'm glad Elu's here because I wanted to show this one. This is going to be our last bit of Goyim have gone insane. I need to... Mr. Elu is our resident Indian correspondent. I don't know many Indians. I know like 2 of them. I'm always scared that they're actually a little sensitive, so I don't really ask them. But this is the unsensitive Indian here. I need to hear your take on this, man. I don't understand what's going on here. I don't know Indians well enough.
Kash Patel. Let me be abundantly clear. Indian people, we do not claim Kash Patel. It's not even for the reason that you think. We're not mad that your significant other is the typically offensive white girl who thinks Hindu is the language. We don't even care that you Americanized your name, Kashyap. You took a name that has ancient scholarly gravitas and changed it to something that sounds like a Russian fintech cashback app. The reason Indian people universally hate you is because our genetics couldn't even save you. Indians, we have our eyes. It is hailed as one of our best features, Exhibit A. But you look like you are permanently auditioning to be an extra in an M. Night Shyamalan film. Another thing about Indian people, when we're rich flexing, it's because we're spending our own dollars that we made with our own degrees, our business acumen. When the Ambanis are boarding their private jet, it's because they own the fleet. When you see the 17th billionaire Indian wedding on your feed, it's because Papaji spent his own dollars. You know what Indian people don't do, Kashyap? They are not out here spending other people's money. Indian people won't even borrow money. You don't believe me? Talk to anybody who had to argue with their Indian dad about leasing a car versus buying a car. Have you ever been at dinner with Indian people? They fight harder over who's going to grab the check than you fought trying to answer a yes or no question at a congressional hearing.
Director, use the alphabet. Yes or no? No. A, B, C,
Director,
D, E, F.
it sounds like you don't want to tell us.
Literally the least Indian thing that you could do is borrow U.S. taxpayer dollars to board a private jet for your Instagram. You're like the worst version of a Gen Z influencer. We don't need you to have custom Jordans. We need you to have a custom plan on how you're going to release the Epstein files. Like, actually. You know what else Indian people are known for? Being smart. Homie, we win spelling bees. We don't slam beers like a desperado groupie. The only thing whiter than being a hockey player is being a pedophile in the Epstein files. Indian folks, we are out here running Google, carrying the world's healthcare with our MBBS baddies, literally inventing math. I share a namesake with one of the most famous mathematicians, Srinivasa Ramanujan. You think I'm gonna come out here and disrespect my name like that? You can say whatever you want about me, but you can't call me stupid. You though, Kashyap Vinod Pramod Patel, for Mezwages that I didn't use taxpayer dollars for. Kashyap Patel, you're Gujarati. Gujaratis are known for being shrewd businessmen and businesswomen. Do you know what Gujaratis will never be known for? Taking the fall for a crusty old white man. You do know who else is Gujarati, right? Mahatma Gandhi. You think your people led the Dandy March so that you, Kashyap, could grow up to protect just another iteration of those same colonizing men? Your Ba is not proud of you. And for those who know, that was more insulting than anything else that I've said about you today.
I don't even understand the hate. You know, actually, she forgot to attach the Giga Chad. I don't even like Kash Patel, and that makes him even cooler. Maybe it's because, brother, if you can scam a private jet, why wouldn't you do that? I bought these shoes with my own money, and that's a flex. The flex is I bought these shoes with someone else's money. Why so angry? Elu, I don't understand this. What is this intra-Indian conflict? It's also inter. What's the big damn deal? It's just yapping and yapping. I actually think now, I actually like Kash Patel now. How about that? How about that? How about I actually like Kash Patel? I think Kash Patel is actually the coolest now. I think he's actually... So, hang on. Indians don't slam beers? I'm sorry, but that's actually not a flex. That actually means that you're a dork. What's the big deal? And you're telling me that he comes from Gandhi's people? Gandhi was some skinny guy who protested by not eating. But Kash Patel's eating good. Why would Gandhi have forsaken food if not for his descendants to eat good? I feel like this is just anger at your lack of success. There's no reason to be angry. Kash Patel may actually be the coolest Indian in the world. I mean, I don't know, because everything she's describing, Kash Patel's riding around on private jets, buying cool shit, talking fast like Ben Shapiro, watching hockey, slamming beers. I mean, is this not the coolest Indian? I think that may be cooler than running Google, actually. Maybe more fun. I don't want to hang out with the Google CEO. Why would, what? So I could have an autist session? Why would I want to do that? I'd rather hang out with Kash on his private jet with his white girlfriend. Why would I not do that? That sounds like so much more fun. His Mossad girlfriend. That'd be epic, dude. I might learn something. So I just think it's so damn silly. But all right, we have to get to the stories. All right, everything says also has a white wife. That's crazy. Wait, who? Kash? Kash has a wife and a girlfriend? No way. A player? His people went from Gandhi in the mud hut to being a player? What? Crazy. All right. Let's catch up on this story first, dude. I've been meaning to catch up with my Hispanic brother from another mother, the Colombian menace himself, James Fishback. Jaime Fishback. Let us catch up with this man. He has been doing some crazy stuff. Yeah, James Fishback is out here doing crazy stuff, okay? Crazy stuff. I need to make an intro card for him. Firstly, Jaime Fishback. For those that are unfamiliar, he's running for governor in Florida. He's been banned from Waffle House. He's been banned from IHOP. I think he's been banned from Denny's. James Fishback is proof that Jim Crow is alive and well. You read that book, The New Jim Crow. The New Jim Crow is real, but it's against Hispanics trying to eat a waffle in this country. But he's getting coverage. Look at this. He got covered by the New York Times. I went to Florida to see the 31-year-old candidate, thrilling Gen Z, Michelle Goldberg. Pretty cool. All right. An opinion piece. That's pretty good. Good for us. Good for the Hispanics. This is a post-mortem on the Waffle House tour that had to be canceled. I'll read it for you here. We'll never know what the fullness of the Waffle House tour would have brought, but an incomplete pilgrimage is still a pilgrimage. The unfinished road still carried us somewhere, and the waffles, though they were never good, were always warm. I mean, is this guy Colombian or what? Is that not Gael Garcia Bernal? Is that not 100 Years of Solitude? That is bars, dude. The waffles were never good, but they were always warm. Now, is this not magical realism? Is this not only a Colombian could write that? Only a Colombian could write that. The waffles were never good, but they were warm. There's so many layers to that. There's so many layers. Let's continue. So here he is being interviewed by, I believe this man here is a groyper. Groypers are allowed. I have no problem with the groypers. The groypers are cool. I don't want this groyper curse. I may disagree with you guys, but I think this guy's a groyper here. An Australian groyper. who interviewed him here in a cheeky cunt fashion here. Let's watch what he had to say.
Look, I'm here with APAC, also known as Australia's Interest Public Affairs Committee. From what I've seen in the headlines, you've got some pretty bad things to say about us.
Well, I'm against all forms of APAC, whether it stands for Israel, Australia, Sweden, it doesn't matter. I think that to put America first is to never allow yourself to be compromised by foreign money. That's why my APAC tracker will stay bright green and Byron's will stay blood red, because there's nothing that Byron won't do for 100 racks.
We couldn't flip him, thank you.
Thank you, Robert, for the super chat. Appreciate you, sir. I would actually like it, but it doesn't let me. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate that. That's sticker number 1. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Robert. Robert, you're getting extra air horns at the end of the show, sir, because you really helped out this week. You keep the lights on around here. We have the new AI data centers. Byron's going to install them. My electricity's going up. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. But here we see that this is just meme magic. This feels like Trump 2016 at the local level here in Florida. Just one more time, because they keep using the same editing music. I wonder if he has this on contract.
Look, I'm here with APAC, also known as Australia's Interest Public Affairs Committee. From what I've seen in the headlines, you've got some pretty bad things to say about us.
Well, I'm against all forms of APAC, whether it stands for Israel, Australia, Sweden, it doesn't matter. I think that to put America
when they drop that track, you know that Fishback's going to say something.
First is to never allow yourself to be compromised by foreign money. That's why my APAC tracker will stay bright green and Byron's will stay.
Byron. All right. Let's continue. We have more to catch up on. Here again, we saw when this happened. Mr. Fishback was confronted by some Jewish folks in Boca Raton because they don't like him, like at least these people in the video, and I understand why they could say that. You know, I kind of don't get it, but I get it. I mean, he's just gonna sell the Israeli bonds. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think that James Fishback is gonna do the Florida Holocaust, but whatever. That's besides the point. Dude, I keep saying things on this show because I watched the show back to see if we're getting better, and I seriously have no ill feelings towards Jewish people. But when I watch the show back, I'm like, is this coming off as anti-Semitic? And then my producer told me, no, it's not. The thing is that we all think that everything is anti-Semitic now. That's the problem. Where like now, because the only Israeli who's doing good propaganda is Bibi Netanyahu dropping bombs at the United Nations. No pun intended. But, doing the Lenny Bruce impression. But, everyone else is like, you can't say that. It's anti-Semitic. And I'm not trying to say anything. So let's see here. They made an edit out of this confrontation he had. When they bring in the Taylor Swift remix for it, this is real. Yeah, I think that Mr. Fishback this campaign is becoming, I don't know, because it's kind of white coded, but not really, because anyone who's dissatisfied here, whether you're a communist or a capitalist, you're kind of like, I might as well try it out, But you might as well put Mr. Brightside, the white national anthem, because when it's Taylor Swift, it's something different.
Disgrace to humanity. This asshole, a vile human being.
This is why, and it's important for later, he has an ability to take any event that would make him look bad and flip it. I mean, look at this. Look at how cute this is. He just pops out. He does a little dance. This is like a disgrace to humanity. Look at me. I'm just a little guy. I'm just a guy. I'm just a dude. One more time.
Vile human being.
See, I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy who loves Florida. I'm just a guy who loves Florida. Great marketing. I love it. Let's continue.
Say the N word. Go on.
You have to see this. Look at this. Look at this. Tallahassee detectives are asking for help identifying the man in the composite sketch who sold addictive drugs to local teenagers. He goes by the street name Apak Shakur. If you see him, do not approach. He is armed and dangerous. Call 911. And of course, we have here Byron Donalds, his opposition. Drawn as a police sketch. I don't know if this is legal. This is crazy. You're telling people to call the police if they see the other candidate, the leading candidate, actually. And all the replies, I don't know how they come up with these. Apak Shakur. Just, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. This is wild, man. Wild. It's wild. It's fucking insane. I don't know how he comes up with this stuff. Here, this was good to cover here. He was banned from Disney. We saw that really early on. They banned him from Disney Springs, which is downtown Disney. Downtown Disney is actually, it kind of sucks these days, dude. I used to like it a lot as a kid. It's just like a shopping center for Disney. But they did two things that really pissed me off. The first one was they banned smoking. They banned smoking. Why would you do that to me? Why would you? You might as well have dropped a Hellfire missile on the King Leo studio. You might as well have done that. You banned smoking at downtown. Why don't you just give me a bottle of scotch and a handgun so that I can kill myself? Yeah, why not? Why? That's from the Departed fans check in. But he was able to post himself here in his Mickey Mouse honorary member Club 33. That's one of the secret clubs at Disney. And he says, I want to thank Disney CEO Rob Iger for reversing my ban. Today I visited Epcot. I was impressed by the incredible food, gracious staff, and the new Gardens of the Galaxy indoor roller coaster. My grandfather Cliff admired Walt Disney. Walt Disney! Da Vinci! Steve Jobs! You know, a Kanye fan over here. And took my father and his siblings the year it opened in 1971. Disney directly employs 80,000 Floridians and indirectly supports 260,000 workers across Central Florida. As governor, I'll work with Disney's leadership on 3 priorities. So he turned it into a win. He's like, dude, and I love Disney too. A lot of people give me shit for that. You like the Disney movies? No, I like the fact that they're a third of the state's economy. How about that? Disney, if Disney's suffering, I'm suffering. When Disney catches a cold, I catch pneumonia. So that's pretty good. He patched it up with Disney. All right. Now we have to see this here. As you know, James Fishback wants to pass a 50% OnlyFans tax. And the hoe tax has these hoes coming out to fight him. Let's see this video here.
I mean, this state is covered in strip clubs. It's silly to say like, oh, we're gonna have morals now.
He calls this a sin tax. Yeah. Do you view what you're doing as sinful?
At the end of the day, who are you to judge sin?
Florida's OnlyFans women are speaking out.
A Florida politician trying to start beef with me for clout.
James Fishback, a Republican primary candidate for governor here, wants to bring in what he calls a 50% sin tax
on whatever you so-called earn via that online degeneracy platform.
Do you think for the voters of Florida that OnlyFans is really a major issue?
We don't want our women in Florida to feel as if the only way they can make a living is by selling nude images or videos on the internet to complete strangers. My view is really simple. If OnlyFans did not exist in Florida, we would be better off for it.
I honestly disagree. I think that it's great. It just has created so many opportunities for me, and I'm so thankful to even be here.
Sophie Rain, a Florida native, is one of the world's biggest OnlyFans stars. And how much money have you made now?
I have just hit $100 million.
$100 million. Mm-hmm. Anya Lacey says her success on OnlyFans has allowed her to buy what she wants now and to save for the future.
Make America great again.
Her journey to OnlyFans began on TikTok.
I started doing TikTok live.
And what would you do on the lives?
Well, I started building Legos, and then I would do like fun things, like people really like to see me in costumes. And then I started getting mass DMs from people, like mass DMs. Do you have an OF? Are you starting an OF?
And how quickly did your OnlyFans grow?
Oh, it was pretty big. Even that first day, I mean, I made like more money than I thought I would.
As St. Paul reminds us in Ephesians chapter 6.
Fishback is the underdog here, going up against a Trump-endorsed candidate in the Republican primary, but his events are attracting crowds of young men.
I've dealt with OnlyFans girls, I'll be honest. I've talked to women who have done these promiscuous activities, and there's no way that I would ever marry them, and most men wouldn't marry these types of women.
I'm actually way less bothered by satanic cults
than I am by OnlyFans.
And Fishback's proposals are playing well in some places online.
And I don't know why the guy who runs OnlyFans is not in prison, like right now. If you're turning like a huge percentage of America's young women into prostitutes, you're a criminal.
The men who spend their money, their time, their resources, I'm not letting them off the hook either. I think they are just as complicit by handing over money to see these nude images. We'd be better off without OnlyFans.
Do strip clubs make Florida better?
No.
But you're not going to put a 50% tax on them?
Just wait on it. I will not tolerate cultural filth and moral degeneracy in my state.
There's a lot of talk about like crisis of masculinity in the US and
Oh yeah, I think men are women now. Men want to be princesses. The biggest problem is like male loneliness and men kind of falling out of men's groups.
people view you as part of that problem because, you know, they say, well, porn and OnlyFans, you are selling these men a fantasy that if you weren't doing that, they might get up off their asses and go out to the bar.
So I think it goes back to your responsibility as a creator. A lot of the way I do things is I try and talk to them, but also lead them in a direction where they will talk to other women and have the courage to get out and go do other things.
Now, this guy here, this guy's terrible. He works for CNN. He's like a total cuck. I don't like him. But I'm going to say this. First of all, I'm not a moralizer. I'm not moralizing over here. When he said the thing about strip clubs being banned, I actually completely agree, but not from the angle you're thinking. I'm not moralizing over here. Because all of the strip clubs in Florida are a fucking scam now, dude. They're a scam. A drink is $40. A private dance is like... First of all, a private dance is $100, and the whole time, the stripper is telling you about how you can sleep with her for $1,000. It's a ripoff. It's a ripoff. It's just, dude, the last time I was at a strip club down here was probably 3 years ago. I went with a buddy. They banned my buddy for telling a stripper to fuck off because she just kept harassing him to sleep with her for like $2,000. It's literally a scam. It's supposed to be a strip club. It's supposed to be a gentleman's club, actually. So fuck them. What, they just want PBD at the strip club. Only PBD can throw around them bills. I'm a numbers guy. I calculate that I'll spend $1,000 at the strip club. It's not fair. It's not fair, okay? Yeah, I'm not I see Lowdown. I haven't seen you here before, sir. If you're new here, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm not a huge fan of the strip club. I've gone with friends. And I never really got it. You know, it's actually kind of weird. But I have nothing against it. It's fine. It's just it's a scam, you know. Now, the other thing I would say here is that Donnie O'Sullivan is a retard because this is probably the most unsympathetic way you could portray the OnlyFans position here. What you could do is interview normal people in Florida that are not in OnlyFans as a control group and ask them, what do you think of OnlyFans? Do you think OnlyFans is good or bad? Because their opinion is the one that matters because they're the voters. Now, if you're an OnlyFans model that makes $100 million, you're obviously going to be against it. It's kind of like asking, what's that Upton Sinclair quote? You can't convince someone of something if their salary depends on it. Why would anyone take seriously these people? Because the counter argument was that single moms use OnlyFans to put a can of spinach on the table for their kid. And no, clearly that's not what's happening. So I don't understand what the point of this is. Like, what is the point of this? Is a terrible attack ad. Like, it's a terrible piece by CNN. And Fishback handled himself well as usual. He seems usual. I had everything says OnlyFans models become libertarians. Reality is stranger than fiction. Oh, it is probably one of the more libertarian things you can do. Listen, I'm a little old world when it comes to this. I don't like pornography. I don't like OnlyFans. I like a brothel. They should have brothels everywhere. Brothels are okay in my view. It's actually the best thing you could have. I was raised in a French school system, so maybe that's what informed it for me. But Venezuela had a lot of brothels back in the day. I'm sure they still have them. And people say it's undignified. I think that's a lot more dignified than whatever we're doing now. And that's just my opinion. But, you know, we can leave that aside. Normally it's analysis. I had to give a little opinion. Let's see here. This is, here you can see that this is taking off. People are doing reaction videos to this interview. He watched the Fishback because he attacked Haitians. Let's watch a little bit of this.
What's the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life is after the Haitian earthquake in January of 2020, January of 2010, My dad lost his business because hundreds of thousands of Haitians who were illiterate, who only knew how to do manual labor, took over the tree trimming and landscaping business in South Florida, something my father proudly did for 20 years. And we were on the brink of bankruptcy. We almost lost our home, and I was living on food stamps for 8 months. And so, yeah, it was really, really painful to have to see my dad and see my mom go through that, to lose our family business for foreign immigrants who came here and stole opportunities away from American citizens. But you know what? I'm done being a victim, and I'm done allowing this victimhood culture that has pervaded large parts of America, particularly in a DEI sense. But we're not sitting here and complaining. We're sitting here to fight back, Tara, to reassert our dignity and our sovereignty over our country.
Did all of the white landscapers go out of business, or is this you looking down on someone to explain failure?
So I don't think that the Haitian immigrants who came here with TPS after the Haitian earthquake in 2010 could become SAT tutors or math teachers. They could do one thing and one thing only.
Sir, listen. Do not blame your family's incompetence to do business on us. You're overcharging. You didn't build a connection. Your father didn't build a connection with his customers to keep that business. That is on him. That is on him, my friend.
That's enough. That's enough. This is the worst. It's like everyone becomes Dave Smith when it's convenient. This is why they took down the Cesar Chavez statue, by the way. That's why they took my Hispanic brother and dragged him through the mud. This is really something. I don't understand this. I have nothing. I actually like Haitians. I like Haitians a lot. A lot of people in South Florida do. A lot of people in South Florida do. When Trump was saying they're eating the dogs, I was like, dude, I've seen Haitians in Chile. We had 1% of Haiti at one point in the country. And you would see the Haitians, and the Haitians were hard workers, man. Like, they're good workers. People in South Florida were like, what is he talking? Haitians are cool. They're actually like really good at fucking working. They're good. I've seen Haitians work in landscaping, obviously, baggage handling. And I'm not demeaning these positions. These are good positions. And they do a great job. They are very, very, I had a Haitian professor. I had a couple Haitian professors. They are very, very good at it. But let's not pretend that bringing in low-wage workers isn't going to dip wages and put people out of business. I mean, I don't understand who this position is for, because it seems like the far right and the far left completely agree on this. And I understand that's marginal, but that matters. You know, who's a libertarian in the big 2026? Who's still a libertarian in the big 2026? I believe in the non-aggression principle. Like, who are still doing that? If you're doing that, please go get a brain scan. You probably have holes in your head. No, I haven't read Mises. Leave me alone. I'd rather read Marx. Leave me alone, Dave Smith. So yeah, I just don't understand. All the attack ads are just terrible. I saw we had a new person here. It's Blitz. We're getting to Hasan next. Don't fret. So, James Fishback decided to make a pilgrimage to the capital of the United States last week. No, this week, actually. Let's see how it went for him. What did he have to say?
People ask me, what is someone running for governor of Florida doing in Washington, D.C., speaking out against the war with Iran? Well, I believe that anything that happens in my state is my business. For the 65,000 active duty service members, the prospect of them being sent to war without congressional authorization to fight a war that doesn't benefit the United States of America, defend off an adversary that does not pose imminent threat to the United States, that's my business. Gas prices back home in my state are my business. And what happens to an American, even if they're outside of our 67 counties in Florida, is also my business.
Now, this is straight Zoran. Someone in the comments who has Peggy Olson as their profile pic, shout out to you, did a great analysis of Fishback in a comment, and they said that he's actually LARPing as Vivek. But this is kind of a moment here where, look, I haven't read Mises. I hate everything, but I do like Hayek. I like Hayek. Hayek's fun to read. I like Hayek. I'm not a Mises fan. You know, I like Hayek. I've read some of the Mises like stuff, but it's not my thing. I like Hayek. Hayek is an interesting guy in my opinion. But This I do see as Zoran. This is a governor violating the law, I think. You're not supposed to make your own foreign policy as a governor, but he's not the governor yet. Coming out here and taking a stand on a war that he can't really affect, but in Florida, it actually kind of matters. Did you know in Florida we have an exact replica of the Vietnam War Memorial? We have a lot of war memorials. We have a lot of veterans here, retired and all this. I assume most of them support the war in Iran, probably. But this is still a strategy to get another vote, as well as gas prices, because we're fed up with the gas price. $4? $4?
Welcome to the pain zone. It's where we live.
$4 a gallon. $4 a gallon. I'm going to buy a Prius. I'm going to be a little gay boy in the Prius. All right, let's continue. He also had this to say. This is very, very crazy.
My challenge to President Trump today, as a supporter of his, as a proud voter of his, is to come back to this building. Come back to this building this week. Call a joint address of Congress and tell us why we're at war.
This is very Zoran. This is someone who wants to be at a lower political position but can influence the direction Zoran's doing with the Democratic Party, but of the Republican Party. Very interesting. He also did, and we're going to have to see this, he had a little clip where he said that they're covering up the Epstein files. So Laura Loomer sent her slave. Laura Loomer sent her slave.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, the slave mentality, the slave mind.
To interrogate Mr. Fishback.
Hello, Fishback.
What's up, Charles?
How's it going? Hey, I have a quick question for you. So, you said when you falsely accused Pam Bondi and the Trump administration of covering up the Epstein files, you said if you touch children, you face justice. Does that mean you're gonna face justice? Like, are you calling on yourself to face justice?
So I think anyone.
Well, we're talking about you, Mr. Fishback.
What is it? They're attacking the Hispanics for the pedophile thing, dude. It's no Hispanic can catch a break.
Let me just, Charles, let's just keep it big picture. Anyone who has been implicated in abusing children should be brought to justice. Absolutely.
So you?
You and I both know what happened there. What happened there? Tell me.
I saw a school district canceled your nonprofit.
It's not true.
Really?
So here's what happened. Somebody who tried to shake my family down and me for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
You have proof of this?
Yeah, it went to court. It went to court, and then there was 7 hours of testimony, and then at the end of that testimony, the judge rejected the claims and fully exonerated me. The case was in May of 2025.
Then why didn't the school district, I guess...
That was in 2022.
Yeah, but why didn't they should have brought your contract back if you were wrong, right?
There's no contract.
They canceled you. They canceled your nonprofit, dude.
What do you mean they canceled it? The nonprofit is alive and well today.
No, they didn't want to work with you anymore.
I was at Broward County Schools earlier this year. What do you mean?
They didn't want to work with you anymore.
So I think
many trips, Mr. Fishback.
Many
suspicious trips. I've read them all. It's disgusting, dude. Trips. You went on trips with little girls.
When?
For your, I guess, tutoring time?
No tutoring time.
Yeah?
What are you talking about?
Dude?
Tell me when these trips were. When were they?
I don't know the exact dates.
Well, if you don't have the details, how are you going to come to me and accuse me of something? What are the details?
Sir, you went on trips. You got accused of dating underage girls, and schools no longer wanted to work with you anymore. So who are you to say that the Trump administration is covering up the Epstein files when you yourself are a pedophile?
If I'm a pedophile, I should be arrested tomorrow, and you and Laura Loomer can go to the FBI and have Kash Patel indict me. But because you have no evidence of that, isn't it amazing, by the way? I'm the only one in the Republican Party actually calling out this cover-up, and now I'm the pedophile.
You don't want to talk about yourself?
I'm happy to talk about myself.
Okay,
where's the evidence?
Why don't you sue the school district who canceled you then? If it was all a big lie, why don't you sue them?
Sue them for what?
They said you were a pedophile, bro.
Ago. They didn't say that.
Yeah, they just said we no longer want to work with you, Mr. Fishback, because you're dating our students. That's not exact, but that's what happened.
No, Charles.
Yes.
Charles, you're talking to Loomer too much, okay?
No, dude.
They can't cuck the Hispanic man. This is what Cesar Chavez would have done if he was alive. Bring me the evidence. I don't know, Mr. Fishback. I asked Gemini about this, and it seems like he was telling the truth, that there is no real definitive evidence that he was touching on little girls. And just on the voice alone, I think we can say that Mr. Fishback wins here, because this is just silly. They think they can get him. No. Let us, we have to get to the next story. So Let's just end with these two, and I'll save these us for our next update. All right. Here he is campaigning now. Remember, Fishback has that great quote. If this were a free market, there would be a slave auction outside right now. So just you can see how he continues to make all these quotes.
What I would say to employers that rely on illegal labor is what I would say to a southern plantation owner in the 1860s. Get over it. Yes, we can make it easier. I mean, get over it. Like, slavery was bad. Yes, getting rid of slavery hurt business in the South. That is true. It's also true that slavery is a sin and it's morally degenerate. I think what we have to do is two things. Be honest. Every illegal immigrant has to go. Number two, businesses that currently rely on foreign labor, there has to be an off-ramp. If it's a temporary tax subsidy to get them to rehire, so be it. But just because your business depends on illegal aliens is not a justification to continue that. If that was the justification, we would still have slavery today.
This is the real Bernie Sanders. Will the real Bernie Sanders stand up? This is Bernie Sanders out here. Bernie Sanders is here. His name is James Fishback, and he's Colombian. Crazy stuff, dude. Crazy stuff. All right. Let's get to the main story. We have to talk about Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker. And to do that, we have to talk about Cuba. Cuba. All right, we can skip this. All right. Cuba is in the news because they are currently being embargoed from oil. Okay. And we can see here that influencers like Habi Lame, you might remember this guy from TikTok, is anti-Cuban regime. So I don't understand what this is supposed to accomplish, but we have to set the scene. We have to show you that there are influencers involved, okay? Steven Crowder had on today this Cuban woman called Spanglish Generation. I hate that. I hate it. I hate the Spanglish. I hate it. The only hybrid language I support is Portuñol because Portuguese is... Listen, if you speak Portuguese as your mother tongue, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. It's very unfortunate for you. I think Portuguese was invented by Yakub to divide the Iberian Peninsula. How about that? I think Portuguese is a fake language. There's a lot of fake languages out there. Esperanto, Portuguese, Chilean. There's a lot of fake ones out there. But Portuguese is just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous language. It doesn't make any sense. You speak Portuguese? You might as well be speaking to me in whatever it is those snake charming evangelicals speak. That's what you sound like to me. I'm sorry, can you repeat that in Spanish, the national language of the United States? I'm kidding. We speak English here. We speak American. All right? I'm kidding. Italian is almost fake. That one is bordering on real fake language. It's a little silly. All right. Let's see what Steven Crowder has to say. If Forhat were here, he would be happy here because we were playing a little Steven Crowder. She had on this Cuban American to talk about the regime.
When I see these people go to Cuba and talk about how wonderful and poor people, because the U.S. is oppressing them, knowing the truth, knowing that no person gets on a raft and spends days at sea trying to get to freedom, knowing very well that they could die, and just living with that reality, no one does that unless what's going on over there is really, really dark. And the fact that these people are trying to whitewash it and just, butter it up and call it vintage and call people resilient. Yeah, we're resilient, but not because we've been fighting against the U.S. It's because we've been oppressed by a regime that, sold social justice. And it's even scarier when you see the similarities between the Cuban narrative and the Democrat narrative. Yeah. And I have to say, I don't believe that every Democrat is a socialist or a communist. Absolutely not. But it would be great if they admitted that their party is the one that the socialists found fit to infiltrate with their social justice BS. I want to say this. Cuba has to do their part. And I know a lot of Cubans don't like it when I say this, because Cubans on the island, it's time for them to rise up. And they're starting. I know it's scary.
Okay. We're not, that would be irresponsible for me to play here. Cubans on the island, it is not time to rise up. Reza Pahlavi over here, she's not, do not do that. You will be killed. Do not do that. If there is a solution, it will come from something else. Do not rise up. You're going to rise up. You're going to rise up. Brother, come on. You're not going to rise up. All right. So as we can see, it's getting a little silly. It's getting a little grifty. All right. I don't like it. I don't like what's going on. I had to show you yesterday. I showed you that Silvio Rodriguez is going to fight for the Cuban government. He's a famous singer from the Trova generation, which is some great music, man. I don't care how. Dude, the Cubans, if the communists did anything right, it's the music. The music is just impeccable. Their music program, University of Havana, under the communists, it's very, very good. Very, very good. Venezuela, a little bit too. I'm going to be real with you, man. They put a lot of money into the arts, okay? All right. Ephra says, I understand the diaspora's point of view, but how much is them trying to fit in being part of the whites? Ephra, I don't think that that's the case in the Cuba, because people, and we'll talk about it with Hasan, people don't understand. Let me give you some real lore here, some real understanding. What happened with Cuba is very, very, it's kind of complex, but simple at the same time. What happened is this, is that the Cubans that left in 1959 were the golden exiles. These were people that had a lot of money, they had assets, and they were able to get out. In 1959, Fidel Castro was not a communist. Fidel Castro does not declare himself a communist until 1961. He declares himself a Marxist-Leninist. Why does he do that? He does that because of several reasons. The United States, this is boring, but hang on, I'll give you the guys a context. The United States had assets in Cuba that Fidel wanted to nationalize, including oil refineries. And the problem was that the oil refineries, they didn't want to give them up because he wanted to pay them in long-term sugar bonds, which if you're the United States sounds retarded, because it is. You shouldn't take payment in long-term sugar bonds. So Fidel was saying, fuck it then, we'll take it by force and start refining Russian crude, Soviet crude. They said, you can't do that, that's not allowed. But he did it anyway. After that, we had the Bay of Pigs on April 19th, 1961. And then Castro comes out and says, I'm a Marxist-Leninist. That's what I believe in, I'm a Marxist now. 1962 is the missile crisis, etc. And people start leaving as Fidel starts managing the economy because it's managed very poorly. It's reliant on Soviet subsidies. There is no innovation. I knew a Cuban guy once who was an architect PhD. Architect PhD? Is that what you would say? Architecture PhD. Who tried to write about all of the buildings built since 1959 in Cienfuegos. And there were none. There were none. There were none. It was very mismanaged. It was poorly managed. All the money went into intelligence gathering, etc. And more Cubans started to leave. The famous waves are going to be the first one, then the Marielitos, who are the criminals, insane, and regular people that came under Jimmy Carter. And all the while, people are coming in on rafts, okay, to the United States. So that betrayal in 1961 at the Bay of Pigs, because Kennedy didn't send in air support, poisoned the Democratic Party in the minds of all Cubans. They said, you let our boys die on the beach. Can't do that. And my personal opinion is that they projected on that the Democrats are evil just because of that slight. And they rationalize it as they're communists. Doesn't help the rhetoric they have, okay? But it just doesn't work out. And what happens is that they really don't like that regime. They actually don't like it. And I think a lot of them, there was a reason we call them Cuban exiles. An exile implies you want to go back. I think a lot of them would go back. Maybe not to live full time, but like 70-30. And that would actually alleviate a lot of things in America for Americans. Just saying. But regardless, no, I don't think it's trying to fit in personally. I think it's really just that. I've seen Cubans that become like DSA people. It's very rare. Those people are trying to fit into something. That's just a little Cuban history for you, all right? And Fidel was economically illiterate. I hate everything, but he was very politically literate. Probably, if I could sit with 3 people, dead or alive, it's going to be Stalin, Steve Jobs, and Fidel Castro. I want to sit with them. I need to hear their knowledge. Dinner with Jay-Z? $1 million or dinner with Fidel Castro? I'll take Fidel Castro, actually. All right. So, as I was saying, this great musician said he wanted his AKM so that he could fight the American imperialists, and he was presented with one today. And you can't read Spanish, but they gave him a replica. They didn't even give him a real gun. They gave him a replica. Gun ownership is illegal in Cuba. They gave him a replica AKM. What am I supposed to do with this? Cook bacon on the barrel? Use it for firewood? The old man wants to kill the F-35 with the AKM. Why don't you do that? Why don't you give him the AKM? This is a ridiculous government, dude. Guys, I get it. Some people may support it. This government is ridiculous. This Cuban government is straight up ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous government. It's ridiculous. And Che was the bank president. I hate everything, which he hated. He didn't want to do that. Here you see him with the replica AKM. Because they're not going to give him a real gun because they're retarded. All right, let's continue. Here we have the influencers in Cuba singing Guantanamera, which is ironic because I don't know if she sang it originally, but the most famous rendition is by Celia Cruz, who was banned from going back to Cuba because she misspoke about the government, and her mother died and she wasn't able to see her. But this is the influencers in Cuba. So I told you, these are the Avengers. The body fat percentage, the BMIs, they're great. Like, this is a people who are ready to take on an F-35. Absolutely. Absolutely. These are the people who you want to fight for you. You want them.
Say the M word. Go on.
It's literally crazy, dude. This is crazy. This is fucking insane. This is so stupid. It's so stupid. Let's continue. This is when they were flying to Cuba because it was a flotilla, but they actually flew. This is the leader of Code Pink, who I remember from storming the Venezuelan embassy in D.C.
So we're on the plane now, getting ready to go to Havana, Cuba. We have this entire charter flight full of people, and as important, full of medicines. And we're so excited to be with the Cuban people and show our support, show our solidarity, and to say that this cruel, inhumane, barbaric policy of the Trump administration has to go.
Listen, man, you may disagree with Trump on this. Again, as I always say, if you can't, how can you not plan for this? You know that petroleum is going to be cut off. How are you not scrambling to get it before Trump gets sworn in? How are you not doing that? I hope this medicine does make it to the Cuban people because most of it is confiscated and sold at stores for dollars. But I guess they're trying to do something good. And in case you weren't aware, there's this Irish band called Kneecap. And I understand where they're coming from. Irish people have a lot of love for Cuba because Cuba was, it helped out the IRA, the Irish Republican Army. I'm not British or Irish, so I don't know much about it. And Che Guevara was Irish, obviously, of descent. So they like Cuba. They went out there to do their little thing, the Kneecap guys, okay?
We, as Irish people, were Britain's first colony, and we have grown up in our
There's Jeremy Corbyn.
days with an understanding of colonialism and oppression.
So a lot of people get mad at this type of thing, but I get it. You know, you support the IRA or whatever. Cuba's always signaled the right thing on that, you know? And Palestine. What do you think of AMLO's alignment with Cuba? I don't agree with what AMLO... Listen, it's not that I agree or disagree. What I don't understand, I really don't get it, is that, in case you're not aware, Mexico's a third world country. And while I was a fan of AMLO's monetary and fiscal policy, I liked it a lot, they're literally giving oil away to Cuba. They're donating it, you know, and if I'm Mexican, I would be a little bit annoyed by that because Pemex, the Mexican oil company, is terrible. It's really poorly run. It's shitty. It's not good. And no one can fix it. I'm not blaming AMLO. I'm not blaming... They can't fix it. It's just corrupt. It's just Latin America, dude. You gotta... Unfortunately, you have to privatize it for it to work. You could do the Colombian solution, but they won't. So giving away Mexican oil to Cuba for free is kind of like... I don't get it. I get it in the sense of if Mexico was like some real player, you know, and it was like, we want to keep Cuba so we could use it to annoy the United States, like North Korea and China, I would understand, but Mexico doesn't even have a nuclear bunker for the president. So what are we doing here? What are we LARPing? What are we LARPing? All right. And also, Ilhan Omar's daughter was here at the Cuba thing. Now let's get to Hasan. Hasan, of course, the Colombian solution is very cool. They had a lot of problems with their oil company. So what they did is that they called in the private sector. And they said, listen, we're not dismantling the public oil company because it's important, it's sovereign. We are just going to allow you to compete. And in allowing competition, the public company had to get its act together. And it eventually started out producing the private companies. And they just kicked them all out. They were like, fucking get out of here. We're back. We're back. And that worked really well. So I think that solution is pretty cool. Now, Hasan Piker, he's in Cuba hunting for dogs to electrocute. What? Is that what he's doing out there? Is he looking for a good place to set up a kebab stand? What? I don't know what this Turk is up to. I don't know. I heard a rumor that his dog died. The one that he shot on camera. That's what I've heard. Maybe he's looking for a new dog to shop. A Cuban dog, if you can find one. They're still around. He's going to be grateful that Hasan took him in. You know, a Cuban dog is I've been eating the worst catfish, man. These stupid catfish walk around Cuba. They do that. The catfish, they walk around Cuba, okay? That's Fidel's fault. He brought them in. Fidel brought in moringa and these stupid catfish so that people could eat them. And what the catfish have done is eat all of the Cuban crocodile eggs. They have crocodiles there and they're dying now. They don't exist anymore. There's barely any left outside of farms. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Hasan, you know, finds a nice Cuban little Cuban pauper, a little Cuban doggo. He goes, how you doing, doggo? No hablo inglés. It's okay, you'll learn English or Turkish. You will be saluting Erdogan when I'm done with you. You've been eating bad. Don't worry, I'm going to take you back to America and we're going to feed you good. Zap, zap, zap. 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 Stupid bitch. That's I don't know. I don't know if Hasan is doing that. I have no idea. I have no idea if that's what Hasan is doing. You know, he's tricking these dogs just like Jeffrey Epstein. You know, He's going up to him saying, hey, don't worry. We have Friskies back in the United States. Come back. There's no embargo. The dog's going, okay. Okay, I said it. Okay, I trust you on this one. I trust you. Okay. Comes back to Los Angeles. He sees the beautiful city. He goes, God damn, we don't have this in Cuba. This is beautiful, you know? Hasan just, hey, I have a new collar for you. We use collars in America. So if you get lost, I can find you food. Puts it on the dog. The dog is there in the background of a Twitch video. He starts moving. Get your ass back on there before I take you back to Havana. Zap! I took you out of the hood and I can put you back. I don't know if that's what he's doing, okay? He's going to make that dog into the bad guy from Scarface.
So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're going to see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you.
So let's watch Hasan here trying to set up his stream.
Every Friday, you already know what we do out here.
It's Friday then.
Rain or shine,
It's
baby.
Saturday,
Even
Sunday,
if
what?
we are in.
It's Friday then.
Even if friggin' Cuba, baby.
So as you can see, the connection in Cuba is not terribly great. It's not the best. You have to use Wi-Fi cards, but I'm sure he had some sweet government deal to get good Wi-Fi. But it started off not great. You know, it didn't start off perfect. But that's okay. That's expected. You know, you're in a third world country. This isn't a problem in any other country in Latin America. Chile has the second highest internet speed in the world after South Korea. Medellin has some of the fastest in the world. Venezuela, Cuba, even Nicaragua has okay Wi-Fi, okay? But Cuba can't get their Wi-Fi act together. But I'm really glad that Hasan was able to stream. I said it yesterday, but I'll say it again because when I watched this, I was like, who needs Wi-Fi in Cuba more than Hasan Piker? Who needs it more than him? You know, I'm not Fed posting. I'm not. I don't support the Cuban government. I don't say I support what the U.S. is doing, but I don't support the Cuban government. But I'm just going to say this, okay? Hasan Piker believes that Cuba is being unfairly blockaded, that they're being starved, that it's bad for the Cuban people, that the Cuban people should rise up and defend themselves, right? That things are bad. They're bad. We need fair play for Cuba, right? That's what we need. There was a guy who thought very similarly to Hasan Piker, and he didn't stream. He didn't go to Cuba to stream. He did something else, okay? Because he wasn't a white-collar communist. He did something pretty crazy that November day. You know what I'm talking about. On camera, he blew someone's head off. He was mad, and he did something about it. It was not appropriate. Should not be done. It's fucked up. First Catholic president. I'm not going to support that. But that's what a real motherfucker did. But what Hasan did is he went to Cuba to set up a live stream. That's what he did. And you know what? Maybe if live streaming technology had existed back then, Lee Harvey Oswald would have been able to live stream from Cuba, and it would have actually freed the people there or something. I don't know. Maybe it would have worked. Maybe Hasan is more correct, you know. The other guy thought he was really going to change things. What did we get for that? LBJ and Nixon, you know, didn't get much better for Cuba. But, you know, if you want fair play for Cuba, if you're part of the Fair Play for Cuba committee, you have a history of doing some crazy shit. This doesn't strike me as some crazy shit. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I love President Trump. I love the United States. I'm not saying that anything should happen. This is bad. I'm literally not saying that. I promise you. I'm not even fucking playing around right now. I'm just saying that this shows you how the white collar communist operates. They're like, oh yeah, I'll go stream. Great stuff. Yeah, let's go stream in Cuba. That'll really help them out. I never think says, I wonder if he plastered his face on Fidel. What do you mean? Hasan? Hasan? Ephra says, I don't think Cuba will be taken over, to be honest. Ephra, I see where you're coming from, and I'm starting to believe that as well. Because I think it's very convenient for the United States in some ways for Cuba to exist. But let's see. At least it's a tease. So the connection got a little bit better, and I have to show you this here. This is what Hasan has to say here. And we might go to his full stream.
Cubans, fucking best people. Okay? So kind, so welcoming, just the best. Just the absolute best people. Oh my Lord. Okay? Not in Miami. Oh, dude, it's the reversal. Actually, literally like the exact opposite. Like all the good Cubans stayed here, and most of the ones that are crazy just like flew up there. I swear to God. So March and I were about to discuss. We get into Uber last night. March and I are about to discuss that we're gonna be flying to Cuba, like talking about plans, right? And I was like, March, don't say anything, because I noticed that the dude in the car was a Miami Cuban. I was like, don't. Like, I literally went, don't say anything. And then I just asked him. I was like, where are you from? And he's like, oh, Cuba. And I was like, okay. And I just asked him about, like, you know, what his feelings are about what's going on. March actually spat some Spanish at him, okay? And let me tell you, okay? He said, Donald Trump needs to finish the job. That's what he said. That was the first guy. And this is like, I guess this was March's first real interaction with like a Miami Cuban, you know what I mean? This was his first ever interaction with a real Miami Cuban, like a real ass Miami Cuban, right? So he was like kind of shocked. So March had not experienced that at all. So that was like his first ever inclination. And the guy had no family here. They were all in Miami, right? So like, you know, obviously he was the classic, like, you know, bomb it all, like God sorted out type guy. I feel like there's this it's a very strange predicament. It's a very strange situation. They have this very weird attitude about it. On the one hand, they understand what their families' lives looked like or felt like when there was a little bit of sanctions relief, and like they could send money with ease to their families, you know what I mean? Like, it's just such a strange cognitive dissonance to experience in real time.
My question here is really this. I don't understand this here. I think Hasan, the reason that he says this about Miami Cubans is because, I don't know, I think people watched Godfather 2 and they think that that's a documentary. There are Miami Cubans that came last year, 2 years ago, 6 months ago. Are those people the same as the ones that he's described? I just don't understand. You know, for all the empathy talk, I don't think it's very difficult to understand, because I can understand both sides, man, because I'm an empathetic guy. I'm an empath, you know? If you're a Cuban in Cuba who supports the communist government, I understand why you want it to stay. You know, you feel like it brought you a lot of social rights, even the playing field. Despite poverty, you know, it's like things are... dude, I don't really know. Dude, I knew one guy that supported the Cuban government because he was ex-military in Cuba. And even he is frustrated because he had to, after the military, he set up a company in Cuba with the state to certify fishing boats. Because in Cuba, everything is government owned. And I understand that we have some communists here, and that's cool. But guys, it really doesn't work at that level, where he had to have his company certified in order to certify every vessel to go out and fish. And the certification process for certifying these vessels was retarded. Like, it didn't make sense to him. And he was ex-military, so he had contacts, and he was like, guys, I just want these guys to go out and fish. I want them to go out and catch fish so that we could have food here. And his buddies turned on him. They were like, no, you have to follow the process, blah, blah, blah. He was like, I don't understand though. Like, what's the problem? I just want them to fish for fish. And so he eventually was like, dude, this is so ineffective and stupid. I can't support this. I felt a lot of patriotism when I was in the army. I really did. But now that I am out of the army, which is a privileged position, I go out and I see and it doesn't work. Like, it just doesn't work. What are we fighting for? This is retarded. What is the point of this? This is stupid. There's a joke that I heard from a Cuban years ago at the cigar shop he was a young guy. He had come over probably like 5 years before 2020, and he was from Santiago. And I was talking to him about it, and I was like, how is it over there? And he was like, he told me, literally, dude, if you put a button in front of me that I could nuke the island, I would do it. It's fucking hell. I was like, tell me about it. Explain. He was like, dude, I'm not fucking with you. This happened. Apparently, in Santiago one time, they have these really old trees, like thousands of years old, and they're thick. They're good for wood, you know? And it fell over. And him and his village went around the tree, and they were like, holy shit, this is so cool. We can use this to build a house. We could use this to upgrade our houses, right? And they're all looking at the tree, and then suddenly some minister, like some low-level guy, comes up and he says, ah! Put the machetes away. We cannot cut this tree into 2x4s. And they're looking at him like, what? What do you mean I can't? I said, no, sir, we can. But first, we need the regional directorate arborologist to come over here and certify this tree for wood use. They go, okay, perfect. All right, well, I guess we'll wait for that, right? A few days go by, a week goes by, the guy shows up. Goes up and he's like, okay, this tree, it seems like it could be certified for use for wood. I actually do think this is a prime candidate. This tree's okay. I've documented it. However, I am going to have to call over the state regional director of house building to ensure that the wood in this tree is adequate, because we have to make sure that the citizens are safe from this wood. And they go, okay, I guess we'll wait for that guy to show up. So a few days go by again, a week, 2 weeks, he shows up. Looks at the tree, he goes, citizens, comrades, don't worry. I think that this tree is perfect. It's actually the best tree to build houses. It's anti-hurricane, like Florida pine. I would love, everyone get your machetes, but don't cut it yet. We have to call Havana because we need it to be certified. And this went on and on and on for 6 months to a year, and the tree just fucking rotted. And they were just there like, okay, thank you. You know, and they finally certified. And what are we supposed to do with this? This is retarded. So that's how Cuba actually works. It's retarded. It's stupid. It doesn't work. So, you know, it's just fucking stupid, man. It doesn't work. I get maybe you like it, but it doesn't fucking work. Let's see over here, maybe some more clips from his stream, and we'll get the hell out of here. All right, let's see this. I've never used Twitch before. Let's check this out. 3 hours.
I have ever been a part of, where people just, you know, they have this very weird attitude about it. They have this very weird attitude about it. On the one hand, they understand what their families' lives looked like or felt like when there was, come up with tomorrow. It's just, hold on.
How can you watch this? I guess that's all he talked about Cuba. The rest is Iran.
Hell yeah. The Pajans are pro-Cuba. I think we have an unprecedented opportunity. I've been at this game for a long time. Okay, I've been called an America hater for a long time, simply for demanding that we offer dignity to people that we're dominating, and not dominate them, right? But I'm seeing it. I'm seeing gears turn. I'm seeing a tide shift. I'm seeing it from a mile away. Trust me when I say this. If you recall, I said this about China. And that attitude shift has already happened. Now, that attitude shift is happening in the imperial court, and it's even happening in America amongst Americans. Obviously, we're a little bit slow to turn, right? But Palestine, And the genocide that Israel conducted was so vicious, so violent, so vile that it did away with the way that many people identified with liberalism. It did away with all of the century of propaganda that people were subjected to, where they thought, no, there's a humanitarian purpose for it. Okay? There's always a humanitarian purpose for some of the violence that we're seeing, but the ultra-violence that people were subjected to day in, day out, this live-streamed holocaust of children with the Republicans are not doing a good enough job selling sit-down interviews. And so we have a bunch of different projects. I will, however, definitely talk to a I am going to end it there today. I know we did only 3 hours, but wanted to end it on a powerful note for you guys. Obviously, I'll be live tomorrow at the regular time, or maybe a little bit later than I normally would. And we're working on the IRL component as well, so we can potentially do interviews in real time. But if we're not doing interviews in real time, we're most likely going to be conducting interviews, like sit-down interviews. And so we have a bunch of different projects. I will, however, definitely talk to
okay, I get it. No, it makes sense now. I get it. That's how you defeat American imperialism. You sit down and you do interviews. I'm so stupid.
Because I'm fucking stupid.
I'm stupid. I didn't get it. Oh my God. You know, actually, fuck, dude, that's actually what China did. That's what China did. China, Mao Zedong, you know, a lot of you guys think it was the Arduous March or, you know, all this shit. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was Mao Zedong sitting down and interviewing Clark Gable and all the movie stars from back then. That's how they won. Mao Zedong got together and he was like, "Oh, let's just start interviewing Charlie Chaplin. Get Charlie Chaplin's ass over here. That's how we're going to win." You know, when they saw that the Japanese, the White Army, the Americans, no fucking way we can fight this guy. We don't have the guts.
You don't have the guts to be what you want to be.
We don't have the guts to fight this guy. No. Baby. That's what those kids in Gaza should have been doing. That's what this whole book I have here. Let me open it because it's green. This book I have over here, Guerrilla Warfare and Marxism. I must have skipped the chapter where they talk about interviewing people. That is so true. Hang on, let me check the table of contents. What do we have here? What do we have? We have Karl Marx, The Art of Insurrection, Min's Guerrillas in the Civil War, James Connolly, Street Fighting, Harry Winston, Revolutionary Struggle for Afro-American Freedom, Che Guevara, Lessons of the Cuban Revolution, Africa, Features of the Armed Struggle. I see it here. Hasan Piker, The Art of the Anti-Imperialist Interview. It's right there. I must have skipped a chapter. Silly me. I guess I'm fucking stupid. Oh, I didn't know. Oh. All right. Yeah. All right. So that's who is fighting the Cuban government, the American government for you. Very good. Very good. It's just fucking.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, the slave mentality, the slave mind.
How can you be a communist in 2026, dude? Like, how can you identify with that label? I can identify with Stalinism. That's very different. Communism, one country, all right? Or Dengism. But if you identify as a communist, you're in the same boat as this guy. This guy is retarded. I just don't. Cuban dogs don't take the bait. Todos los perritos cubanos, por favor, no le hagan caso a este turco que lo va a electrocutar. No le hagan caso. Don't trust Mr. Piker. He is duplicitous. He is just like Erdogan. Just like Erdogan. He will tell you something and do something else. This is a sick man. Sick man. Those poor Cuban dogs, man. I had everything says Chenk's nephew. The Cuban government gave me money to suck them off. Dude, I don't even know if this guy did it for the money, man. Like this is so stupid that it's just this level of stupidity is just so bad that someone could only do this in an earnest fashion. How else can you do this? You have to be earnest about this. Efra says, what do you think about the prediction market? Do you think it will compromise strategic objectives when it comes to war? I think it can, absolutely, because I've told you guys before that there was a prediction market in the past, before Polymarket, like 20 years ago, and it gave away the day that they were going to get Gaddafi. So, let's see here. U.S. strike on Cuba. It could give stuff away. So, I agree with that, Efra, because it's impossible to prevent people with insider knowledge of betting on this or having someone bet on it for them. So I'm sure that this is being cooked partially by that. And also, like you've mentioned in the past, Efra, this could become a self-fulfilling prophecy of some sort. Let's see, what other Cuban markets are there here? There is U.S. strikes on Cuba, invade Cuba, U.S.-Cuba economic deal. That's interesting. See that? Economic deal by June 30th, 55%. That would actually be cool, man. If they did some sort of economic deal, got them to start trading normally. All right, everything says Caesarism looks good right now, dude. Where is my Deng Xiaoping, brother? Where's my Deng Xiaoping? Where is Deng Xiaoping? Can the real Deng Xiaoping please stand up? Can the real Lee Kuan Yew, even though I don't like him that much, stand up? Can the real Jose Stalin stand up right now? Can he get up? We're all waiting. We're waiting. Can the real FDR stand up? Obviously not. He can't stand up. He has polio. But, can he stand up figuratively? But I don't mean literally, Can the real Greg Abbott stand up? Actually, he can't. I'm not. Never mind. Never mind. Where's my Genghis Khan? Where are my people? Where are the great men of history? Because there's only one great man of history right now, and you know his name. I don't even have to say it. The man who always wins. Love him or hate him. Love him or hate him. Lenny Bruce over there keeps winning. Keeps winning. Keeps winning. All right. All right. We're not ending the show right now. Hang on one second. Let's fucking look up Bill Maher because he has Anna Paulina Luna on. Let's see Bill Maher if overtime is already posted. Bill Maher. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. Let's see this shit here. Let's see this. What's going on here? What's going on?
Paul Begala, and she's her
I hate this guy.
Congresswoman for Florida, Representative Anna Paulina Luna. All right. First question is for you. Do you think we are headed, Congresswoman, for a full disclosure and transparency about UAPs, which we used to call UFOs?
Oh, Bill Maher's talking about UFOs. I'm so glad we're talking about UFOs. They're talking about UFOs. I already told you that third world or wisdom. Go stock up on eggs. Price is going up. Price is going up.
We live in hell. We live in the gutter.
Whenever they talk about aliens, it means that the prices are going up. All right, everyone. Let's have a beautiful night. Get out there this weekend. Go have some fun. Go to the strip club before Mr. Fishback bans. How about that? Go have an experience. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please like the video, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff. Check out this week's videos. I shot something today, but I didn't have time to post it. We will bank some videos for next week tomorrow, so it's going to be great. And everything says it's going to be the best episode right there. Dude, it's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be fucking crazy. I can't wait to see Anna Paulina Luna, my girl. The beautiful. Not as beautiful as Barry Weiss, but the beautiful. Have a great weekend, everyone. Like, comment, and subscribe, as usual. Thank you. Thank you again to Robert. One more for Robert. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Robert, for the super chat, sir. I'll really appreciate you. See you guys then.
Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world.
the war